Just a reminder before today's programme that the previous instalment of the Ident Review Extra is still available to view, and in that instalment we took a look at Dalek. Also, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Your support helps keep AMTV running and the programmes you enjoy coming to your screens. For more information, visit patreon.com/Adam Martyn AMTV. And now, here on AMTV, time for the latest episode of the Ident Review Extra, and finally, we're moving in to the early 2000s. The following programme is rated U. It is suitable for all audiences. Hello, and welcome to the Ident Review Extra, the spin-off show that takes a look at one individual ident each episode and gives it the review it deserves. And today we continue our marathon through the BBC2 idents of the 1990s and also now the early 2000s. Today on our BBC2 journey, we finally enter the 21st century. On the 1st of January 2000, BBC2 introduced what would be the final phase of idents that made up this era, an era that had been ongoing since 1991. And today, we will be looking at the first of this new batch, so without further ado, let's have a gander at Excalibur. Well, they definitely went for elegance here, didn't they? This I feel sort of brings together many of the stronger elements from the first batch of the early 90s, whilst adding something new. It's simple, the visuals are relatively barren and bare, with one central action happening to focus viewer attention. In this case, a sleek and sharp 2 emerges slowly from the water. For those who may be confused why this sequence is titled as Excalibur, in Arthurian legend it was often stated that the sword Excalibur rose from the water when presented, so the 2 is mimicking this action, although granted no one is holding it. The side-on view is interesting, but when trying to imagine it the regular way round, I think this angle actually works in the ident's favour. The lovely different shades of blue are all mixed beautifully here, with the sequence never becoming too overwhelming colour-wise. Finally, even though the soundtrack is bare, the drips of the water droplets hitting the ocean are calming and relaxing, echoing the best soothing traits at the beginning of this whole era in 1991.
Your last look now, because the face of BBC2 Scotland is changing forever as of tomorrow morning to take us into the new world, an old but well-respected film from director Robert Wise.
Excalibur would initially only be seen for just under 2 years, when in late 2001 it was to be taken off air to make way for the Personality 2 batch of idents, ending a 10-year era. The announcement you just heard was from BBC2 Scotland, where seemingly Excalibur was the last ident to be shown before this radical facelift. But the story doesn't end there. Like many idents from the era, Excalibur found a new lease of life during the 50th anniversary of BBC2 in 2014. Let's have a look at how this sequence returned in some lovely HD.
Meet a family of wild beavers in the natural world at 8. But first, on BBC2 Northern Ireland, the knives are out for blades in EastEnders.
Absolutely stunning. In many ways, I feel idents such as this, that are relatively simple in concept and visual design, come out the best when they have been upscaled into high definition. Everything just pops out that little bit more, and the final resting image of a 2 hovering above the water is so serene that I would definitely add it as a landscape drawing on my wall. If I had the space, that is. Excalibur would get the second chance at regular service it deserved in early 2015, when it, along with many of its peers, became the face of BBC2 once again.
This is BBC2 Northern Ireland. Now at midday, we join Andrew Neil and Joe Coburn for Daily Politics.
After a few more years to really show itself off, lasting longer than its original run, Excalibur was once again pulled from the airwaves in late 2018 to again make way for a new era of idents for BBC2. But how does its legacy hold up? Well, despite not being one of the longest lasting idents, it's still fondly remembered and adored by fans, mainly for its simple design and concept, its soothing pacing, and ultimately, just because quite frankly it's a gorgeous ident to look at, and in some ways a shining example of the might and power of the BBC2 brand at the dawn of the new millennium. And so we've come to the end, but before we go, the final words from our broadcaster. This programme has been brought to you in part by our producer and director patrons. With your support, you help keep AMTV running and the programmes coming to your screens. Thank you. And that does bring us to the end of another evening here on AMTV. We hope you enjoyed the programme, and we hope to see you next time. Good night.